Hello, my name is Gianna Rose, and I'm just going to get straight into the video and say you can become disabled at any age, you can become chronically ill at any age, and you can require different mobility aids at any age. There is no such thing as being too young. You don't have to hit a specific age to finally be able to be chronically ill. There are some chronic illnesses and some other disabilities that you actually have to have from birth, which people seem to forget about that. For example, autism. I was born autistic. You have to be. Or with Ehlers-Danlos, once again, you have to be born with it. You can't somehow catch it or have it develop later on in life. It can get worse later on in life, and it often does for people, but you have to be born with it. And unfortunately, there are even medical professionals who don't seem to quite understand this. Back 10 years ago, in 2014, January, I suddenly felt like I was going to throw up every single day, all day. Just always nauseated. It didn't go away. So I decided to see a GI doctor because that's not normal to feel like that every single day of your life. And he told me I was too young to have health issues, including GI issues, and that it was just from anxiety due to being a high school freshman, and that I was just stressed. Yeah, I was anxious because that's not normal to feel like you're going to throw up every single day of your life. That's not supposed to happen. So yeah, I didn't see from him for very long, and I did switch to a different doctor, which I was lucky that I was able to switch to a different doctor because not everyone even has that as an option. And the next doctor I saw did take me seriously and did understand that, yeah, that can happen at any age. Unfortunately, that doctor that I was seeing for a while didn't know that Ehlers-Danlos existed until after I got diagnosed with it. But that's for another video. That's not her fault. This kind of thinking can be quite dangerous when coming from medical professionals because it can lead patients to not being able to get certain treatments or just help at all, which then can potentially be fatal depending on the condition, whether that be due to someone suffering so much physically that it harms their mental health, or because some conditions can be fatal, especially, for example, cancer, where someone in my life had cancer in their early 20s, but the doctor had looked at it and was like, oh, well, that doesn't usually happen to people your age, that type of cancer, and you don't do the things that would make it higher risk, so they were just going to ignore it for a while. But this person decided to get checked out by a different doctor anyways, because that's alarming if it could even potentially be cancer, and it turns out it was. And if they would have listened to the first doctor, I don't even want to know what would have happened. When it comes to mobility aids, I especially notice in long COVID support groups and also Ehlers-Danlos support groups that people just will straight up deny themselves from using mobility aids at all due to their age, or they will tell themselves that they specifically can't use wheelchairs because of their age, but that a cane is okay, even if people really need it. They'll tell themselves no because they'll be like, oh, well, I'm too young for this. And I'm seeing people even in their 50s saying that they're too young for such a thing. Meanwhile, there's children in wheelchairs. And one, that's bad to tell oneself that when you actually need it, because you're making life a lot harder for yourself. But also, do keep in mind, think about how us younger people using mobility aids may feel when you say those things publicly. I know you're not probably thinking about that, but maybe that's something that would be helpful to keep in mind. Well, even with myself, I wish I would have used mobility aids sooner, but I don't know why I just didn't really think that was an option because it was never presented to me by doctors as such. Um I started having issues with walking sometimes in high school, where there were days where I just had to stay home and just stay in bed due to extreme pain or feeling like I'm going to pass out. I also would have days where I would be at high school and would have to tell my friends, hey, can you keep an eye on me? Because I might collapse. That's not good. And there were a few times where in high school I would get to school and then I would just have to sit in the office that was at near the bottom of campus because I physically couldn't walk to my class at near the top of campus because my school was on a hill. So once again, if I had some sort of mobility aid, I would have not had to miss as much school, and I would have been able to get around easier, especially because even the times where I was able to get around class, like I was dealing with really bad heart palpitations anytime I had a class near the bottom of campus and then the top. I felt like my heart was going to explode, and that's not healthy to be feeling like that. And it also got in the way of class for me because feeling like that can cause brain fog when you're just like and like your blood pressure and pulse are all out of whack, and like I just feel like this. So yeah, I wish I would have started using mobility aids sooner. I would have greatly benefited from that. I didn't start using a cane until age 21, 22. I am also an ambulatory wheelchair user, but I didn't start using one until this year, although I needed it last year because of long COVID. And I couldn't get it last year because my general practitioner at the time did not know how to get one through insurance that was customized to my size. She only knew how to get one through medical supply stores, except they didn't carry them in my size. They only carried them for standard size adults. And I'm 4'7", and the chair was like half of my weight, so I couldn't self-propel myself for more than a few seconds, and even then, like, the joints in my fingers were going out of place and in my elbows, so that was not good. So I had to wait until my current general practitioner, where they were able to then send my referral to occupational therapy at Stanford, who works together with a wheelchair company. And if they approve of it, then they send the information to insurance, and then the insurance has to approve of it. And then I got it. It was a very long process, but I got it. Um, so yeah, but it once again is still sometimes strange for me to see people and they're like being like, "Oh, I'm too young to use a wheelchair because I'm 40" or stuff like that. And I'm just like, "Hey, I'm in my 20s and I have one." So like, so yeah. If you made it this far, I hope you found any of this information useful, whether you are a chronically ill person yourself, or caring for someone who is, or just have someone in your life who is. If you want to hear me talk more about different chronic illness stuff, please let me know and I will try to do that. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.